Hello, and welcome to this fourth grade episode of Math Matters. I'm Miss Ott, and today we'll be doing our second lesson on graphing. For today's lesson, you will need a pencil and graph paper. Or if you don't have graph paper, you can get a pencil, plain paper, and a ruler or another tool to help you draw a straight line. We'll wait while you gather your materials. We will continue to collect, organize, and represent data in graphs. In today's lesson, we will focus on a bar graph. The first part of our lesson will focus on organizing the data. You'll know you're making progress towards this goal if you can explain how to use a table to arrange data. Remember, mathematicians are communicators. So we will often stop and ask you to share your reasoning. You can either do this with someone in the room or just out loud to yourself. Derek surveyed his friends. He asked them, "What is your favorite ice cream flavor?" The results are below. What do you notice and wonder about the results of Derek's survey? This is a time to share your thinking out loud. Maybe you noticed that there are many kinds of ice cream on the list, and some students seem to have liked the same kind. Were you wondering which one is the most popular? It's a little hard to tell with the way the data is organized right now. Let's create a table to make the data easier to see. The title of a table should tell the reader exactly what data is in the table. What would be a good title for our table? Since this data is about Derek's friends' favorite ice cream flavors would be a good title for our table. Our table will have two columns. One column will list all of the flavors that the kids chose. The other column will list the number of people that chose that flavor. Go ahead and make your table look like the one on the screen. We will need to list all of the flavors that the kids chose. Go ahead and do that now. Now it's time to put the data that Derek collected into the table. I am going to highlight each answer as I count it so that I can keep track of what I've counted. Notice that in the first row there are 2 chocolates, a vanilla, and a strawberry. In my table, I put 2 tallies for chocolate, 1 for vanilla, and 1 for strawberry. This slide will remain on the screen. Go ahead and tally the rest of the ice cream flavor choices into your table. Here is a completed table. Check yours against the one on the screen to see if you have the same number of tallies. Since mathematicians revise and edit their thinking, make any changes you need to. Let's check in with our learning goal. How did you organize the data in the table? Share your thinking out loud. Maybe you said something like, first we thought about a title and then labeled the columns. Then we used the answers Derek collected to add tallies to the table. So now we can see the same information Derek collected in a more organized way. The second part of our lesson will focus on representing data in bar graphs. You will know if you are making progress towards this learning goal if you can identify the components of a bar graph. To begin our bar graph, let's add a title. Our title will be Favorite Ice Cream Flavors. You can put that on your paper. Next, we need to draw and label the axes. The Y, or the vertical axis, will be the number of students. The X, or the horizontal axis, will be the ice cream flavors. Go ahead and add those labels to your paper. The next step is to add the increments or scale to the y-axis. To do this, it is helpful to know which flavor was the most popular and how many people chose it, and which flavor was the least popular. I can see that the least popular flavor is vanilla, with 2 people choosing it, and that chocolate is the most popular, with 8 people choosing it. That means that my y-axis has to have a scale from 2 to 8 with all the numbers in between. I chose to do a scale of 2. I'm going to start at 0, and that will take me up to 10. You can choose to do a scale of 2, or you might choose a different scale for your bar graph. Go ahead and create your scale on the y-axis now. Now it's time to put the data on the bar graph. I can see that 8 people chose chocolate. My bar will start at 0 and end at the 8. 2 people chose vanilla. 3 people chose strawberry. Since I don't have a 3 on my vertical axis, I will go in between the 2 and the 4. Take some time now to draw the bars that we have so far, and also add the bars for mint and cookie dough. Here is a completed bar graph. Do our bar graphs look the same? If you used a different scale on your y-axis, they may not, and that's okay. Let's check in on our learning. Either to yourself out loud or to someone nearby, can you identify the components of a bar graph? Bar graphs have a title, axes, labels, and increments or scale on the y-axis. Today, we learned about collecting, organizing, and representing data in a bar graph. What is one thing you learned today? Share your thinking out loud. Mathematicians ask themselves questions. What is a question that you're still wondering about? In today's 4th grade episode of Math Matters, we collected, organized, and represented some data. Survey the people in your house. See if you can collect and organize some data. I'm Miss Ott. I hope you have a great day and keep on counting.